Elpis was one of my students from Past Life Regression Practitioner course. When I took her demo of Past Life session, she discovered a beautiful planet, somewhere hidden in the galaxy. Let's hear her story. As someone who's not very spiritual, the idea that I could be connected to different past lives has never occurred to me. I was curious as to what the course entailed, and I decided to challenge my own perspectives when I joined the course. The session in specific broadened my viewpoint about life itself. The next thing I know is landing in a deserted place with very weird trees. The trees have branches that goes in weird directions and has a mix of green and purple leaves. I saw the sunset in front of me and immediately realized this place that I am currently in only has sunsets. I looked at myself and I could feel that I was a different person. I wore baggy pants and a top which looked very old, but the material was thick. It was a red top and the pants were a dark shade of peach. I also noticed that my clothes were bloody. I had a bow in my chest. The moment I noticed it, I could instantly feel the pain in my chest, and it hurt a lot. My body was more muscular, and I could feel that I had a stronger physical body. My hair was very short and had a boy cut. I couldn't really tell if I was a man or a woman. I did feel somewhat a feminine energy, but I mostly felt very androgynous. I somehow got this message in my name that I am Aya and I am 16. As I went back to the scene where I had died, I saw many people fighting in front of me. I saw a huge building behind them that were very technologically advanced. I see a man in front of me and he is looking at me very disappointedly. He seems to be sad and angry. He takes out the arrows and shoots me right to the chest. I could feel the pain immediately and I was very hurt physically and emotionally. It felt heavy. I try to grasp an understanding of what is happening. I keep getting signs in my mind that I betrayed him. I was genuinely confused because in my present life I have never ever betrayed someone, and even the thought of it seemed impossible to me. So how come my past self could betray someone, especially someone whom she loved very dearly? I realized that they were lovers and that they met secretly. When asked about the planet I was in, I was little confused. I kept seeing flashes of a planet which was very similar to Earth itself, but something was different. I got this message that the name of this planet is SHOULN'T, and that it is the only planet in that solar system. I was genuinely confused at this cause. I have never seen any flashes of a planet like this before. I noticed that there are only 2 countries in the whole planet. It was like in the shape of 2 wings. One was called Vela and the other was called Yira. I could sense that Vela and Yira are countries with a lot of power, and I belong to the country of Vela. When I tried to think about how the planet was formed, I quickly found myself traveling back to Earth to see if I can see SHOULN'T from there. But I couldn't. I quickly realized that SHOULN'T is a planet that's way older than Earth and that it still exists somewhere, but we cannot see it. The planet was created by my ancestors. They are very powerful and they are gods. They can create energy into a ball-like thing known as the globe, which was a bright golden color, and feeding it into a computer-like technology to create anything from food to huge buildings to elements and resources that are needed for survival. I am their descendant, and I am God as well. When I was asked about the time, I could only see various flashes of 12 everywhere. It was a big and red in color. It was also on the flags and walls. It felt like watching a movie, yet I could physically and emotionally feel all the emotions. Every flash that I saw occurred fast and randomly. I see why other planets could not see our world. It's got a protective orbit, that bright white like a tube light which extended upon the planet to protect it from monsters. While thinking about the monsters, I could only see a gist of my mother from that life teaching a younger me about it. I look at the mother's face to realize she is my mother in this life as well. She, however, has longer hair, is taller, has brown hair, and her face is somewhat oval than round. She is teaching me because I am a god and I only learn from gods. She tells me that these monsters are gods as well, who can create globes, but they eat the globes and become bigger, and they eat away other planets. Now I realize why it is the only planet. She showed me a small plushie of the monster. It's black and has horns and somewhat looks like a reptile. She tells me we are different from them because we use our powers to create and take care of others, and so we are the real gods. I try to understand what power I have. I saw myself preparing small globes of laughter. This was my power. I used to teach children how to laugh and live life joyfully. This makes me realize that I am way less powerless than anyone around here, and I feel weak. I sense a feeling of insecurity in me, something I feel even in my present life. Feeling incompetent and constantly trying to please people, including my family. I realize that I cheated the one loved because I wanted to gain power. I stole the globe that he had made, a huge red one, which seems very important and powerful. I somehow remember me stealing it and going back to my home crying. I was feeling ashamed and guilty that I am doing this to someone I truly love. I see him again during the war and I see myself getting hit by the arrow again. It hurts more and I feel like crying. I do not die yet. I see my soldiers rushing to him to kill him, and he just stands there without a fight. He constantly kept looking at me. I was constantly trying to remember his face more clearly. I could only understand he had very dark blue eyes and they looked very hurt. They did not resemble anyone in my present life, and that somehow made me feel even sadder. I looked at the arrow in my chest and realized he used the same bow and arrow that he used to teach me in archery. I could only see certain scenes, but I could sense that we were very close, and I could only imagine how much he was hurt because of me. When I was asked if I could see any of my ancestors, I saw the first goddess. She looked so beautiful and eternal. She had long hair, whitish silver hair, but she was not pleased to see me. She looked somewhat angry and did not want to talk to me. I was confused. I asked in my mind why she is not talking to me, and I was surprised when she replied saying that it's because I betrayed someone for the sake of power. I could feel hurt and I wanted her to talk to me and understand my side as well. I felt the desperation in me. I really wanted to feel accepted and understood, and even though he understood me, I craved for acceptance more. I wanted to feel recognized and respected for my power, and this made me greedy. This led to my loss. When I saw him again to apologize, I could feel my own heart tightening so much. I told him I was very sorry and that I loved him very much. I do not remember what he said back to me, but I clearly remember him hugging me tight. My body that was aching and feeling cold suddenly became warm. That hug was nothing that I have ever felt in my life. I could feel my heart becoming lighter. I see behind his back my ancestor. She was looking at me and smiling. I immediately noticed myself being next to her. I understand. Her name is Lee. I apologized to her as well. This time, she didn't look angry. Rather, she looked at me with empathy and compassion, and I started to feel way much better. I could also sense her great power just by standing next to her. She glowed and she puts her head against mine to share her feelings with me. She told me not to be afraid to love and that I should be able to love anyone without fear or hesitation. I tried conveying her that I just wanted to protect my planet and be a worthy god. She said that I was always given the choice and I let my insecurity come in between my love for him. She also told me that I cannot always please everyone and we can make the choices we really want. And if the people we love also loves us just as much, they would be able to respect our choices. She reminded me that I am a god and I should behave like one. And before leaving, she pulled my cheeks and told me she was always looking after me. And I remember this scene from my present life where I tried to end my life one night. I was very troubled and anxious about ending my life. And right before I decided to end it, I was given a nudge by Lee to try and be honest about my problems to my mother. I thanked her in my mind and I remember waking up feeling very overwhelmed. I could feel my head being very heavy and my foot and palms being cold too, but I somehow felt relieved. I honestly was too stunned to speak and it felt very surreal. I tried recollecting and understanding everything that happened. And I realized I should let go of my insecurities and be able to value myself better and love anyone I want without having to always please the people I love.